Yo, this is RizzyPOW, and I am here with Jolt today of the Token Minorities, and this is going to be week 2 of the CPC Power Rankings.
Woo! You kind of did your intro. I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. I was really trying him to do his classic intro on his channel. You guys could check out his channel if you haven't seen it before. Probably the highlight of the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, check out my channel. Thanks.
I got you. Don't worry. But yeah, once again, we had a lot of...
Actually, check him out for his birthday. Today's his birthday. So...
You're right. I turned 101 today, guys. It's pretty cool. I'm old. Oldest PokeTuber alive. Anyways, once again, a lot of really cool battles this week. Really close in many cases. Also, some kind of surprising blowouts as well that we'll be briefly talking about as we go through these power rankings. But, man, the rankings this week are really close, huh?
Yeah, they were difficult for sure. So... yeah.
So we're just going to go ahead and get this started. So we're going to start this off with number 16, which we actually both have the same person here for number 16, being the Connecticut Crocodiles, coached by 681 Shadow. And yeah, this game was a little ugly, ending in a 6-0 defeat at the hands of Turk and the Toronto Luxrays. So yeah, very unfortunate game, but the 6-0 doesn't really reflect how close the game could have been, in that the 6-0 happened as a result of a missed rock slide from a Scolipede, which was already a +2 attack. So even if the Scolipede wasn't able to sweep the rest of the team, which based upon the prep I don't think it could have due to resist berries, it does definitely suck because it turned what could have been at least a 5-0, but potentially even better than that, into a 6-0, which obviously doesn't really bode well for your post-season dreams. So pretty unfortunate there, but he did bring a pretty cool Dusclops set this week, which was Skill Swap to try to help deal with the Mega Lopunny. It worked out pretty well. Was able to take away the Scrappy from Mega Lopunny, and then also Pain Split up on the switch in afterwards. So that was pretty cool prep. Scolipede also was cool if it would have hit its Rock Slide, but guess you need to train your Scolipede a little better here. But yeah, that's about all there is to say on this. Kind of a rough game. Unfortunately, he has to stay at number 16 just like he was last week.
Yeah. Yeah, his prep was pretty cool. The Dusclops was definitely pretty neat.
Yeah.
I liked it. Next up, let me get the power rankings up. So I have San Antonio Spars, coached by Will, the RNG Lord. This week, who did he play? He played Abe this week. And I remember at the end, he got swept by the Manaphy. Abe has been bringing that Manaphy like every week. At least like well, it's only been 2 weeks, but
I mean, it's a good Pokemon. Can you blame him?
Yeah. No, but the same Manaphy said, like the Calm Mind.
Yeah.
Rest Talk.
Right. Only 2 weeks in, though.
Like pretty much, obviously different EV spreads. Yeah, but this match, like he played pretty well, Will, but it's just that man, like he was doing pretty well until the Manaphy came in, and the Manaphy just kind of won because like Keldeo kept on trying to like secret sort it, but Manaphy was just too bulky. He didn't really have anything to also outsped it, and because it got like a Calm Mind or 2 up and it had Rain Up, Scald was just destroying everything. His only thing that outsped it was Keldeo, and Keldeo obviously wasn't doing that much damage to it. And then Mamoswine also outsped it. At the end, Mamoswine came out and it did a bit of damage to it. It only did like 40%, so there's also that. And Kangaskhan didn't even outspeed, so it's kind of hard. He did actually do a lot better though, or he did do a bit better because he was pretty even until the Manaphy came out, but decided to keep him, or I think I lowered him a little bit just because he lost in the end.
I think it's the same as where he had him last week, it looks like.
But yeah, he was before, so kept him the same place. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of crucial when he let his Manectric get weakened and then eventually taken out by Stealth Rock early.
Yeah,
that was one of the better checks. So.
Turn 1, he let Manectric get weakened, which wasn't...
And obviously, the more times you switch Delmise into a Scald, you're eventually going to get burned, and then it doesn't beat Manaphy at all. So that was also part of the issue there. But let's go ahead and move on to number 14. So we both have the Arkham City Delibirds here, coached by A12. And this was a really tough one to rate him here because we both know like he's a really, really good player. And unfortunately, because he was ranked really low in the preseason for both of us, suffering a loss this week to foul up, despite how close it really was, does mean he has to stay low here at number 14. He did have some pretty cool prep. He had things like Calm Mind, Topic Coco, Sub SD Diggersby, even Pursuit Dredagon to help deal with a Gengar. But he had a bit of bad luck as well with his Archeops, having pretty poor accuracy with his Head Smash versus a Skarmory that costed him a lot of health and potentially even was game deciding. It's hard to really know, as that did happen at a point in the game where several different plays could have been made, but it did make the game essentially unwinnable from my point of view for him after he missed the Head Smash. So too bad that happened. Unfortunately, that's just a risk that you do take whenever you draft something like Archeops that heavily relies on Head Smash to be really effective. So pretty unfortunate there.
Yeah, and also the crit on the, the Skarmory. Did you see that one? The Ironhead crit on the Diggersby that was setting up?
Oh, no, I guess I missed that one.
Yeah, because I think Diggersby would have been able to live an extra hit, and he would have been able to get 2 Ice Punches off, and that means Skarmory would have been dead. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot of hacks against A12 this week, but yeah, he still lost, so...
It happens. It happens to the best of us, but you know, like we said before, he's such a good player that I would not be surprised at all to see him end up in the top 8, honestly, in a couple weeks. But kind of not the best start, 1-1, not a bad start, not a great start. But you know, we'll see how he does. I think his draft is a little undermanned, maybe relying on Diggersby a bit too much, but Diggersby's a pretty good Pokemon in the format, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I like Diggersby. It's a good Pokemon. I'm on the Diggersby bandwagon.
I agree, Shuriken. But what's the next one that we have? We both have Arizona Dactyls, so talk about them really quick. This was Volume. This week he went up against Andrew. So this was, let me see my notes real quick. All right. So, okay, yeah, so Garth Kuno really hurt Andrew this game. It ended up being his volumes check to Mega Pidgeot, which actually was really cool. I don't think Andrew expected the Scarf either, and Mega Pidgeot was doing a lot of work for him because his only counter to it was Lantern, and even Lantern wasn't like the greatest counter because Pidgeot can roost up on Volt switches and stuff, and I don't think he had Toxic, so wasn't the best. But I remember he kept on like playing kind of aggressively with Lantern. He didn't want to let Excadrill get a free switch in because he didn't really have the best Excadrill switch-ins from looking at his team. All he had was Donphan, and he ended up allowing it to get weakened pretty early in the game. Remember that, like, he was making doubles expecting Excadrill, and I think Andrew just roosted up on like a potential Volt switch or something. But yeah, I remember Andrew was playing around it as well, trying to get Excadrill in and stuff. But yeah, he also brought Rain Dance Hydreigon, which was pretty cool. So he had some pretty cool stuff, and he did win, so I did raise him up a little bit. It was kind of hard. I feel like he should be a bit higher. But it's just hard with everybody, like with how it worked out this week, because, you know, I don't feel like Chris should be number 13 or something. So, yeah, that's why I put him at number 13 instead of other people. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and speaking of this game between Volume and Muse the Best, the Portland Trailblazers, let's go ahead and talk about them a little bit. So I have them ranked at 12, while Riz has them up at number 9. So still approximately the same region here in the third quadrant of the rankings. But Andrew is on quite the tilt streak right now. I don't know. I've definitely seen him play a lot better previously than he has in these first 2 weeks. And he did take another loss, like we already talked about here, to Volume this week, but he just keeps over-predicting so much, and I don't know. Like, I really want to see him do well because I know, like, he's a very high-caliber player, but the more he over-predicts like that, the more he's going to lose, unfortunately. So really hoping he can get that turned around, but that those over predictions really did cost him, I think, a lot again, where he was trying to play honestly overly aggressively against, I believe, against the Jirachi that Volume was using in the battle, I believe twice, which caused him to take a lot of extra damage on his offensive mons that he really didn't need to take otherwise. So those kind of over predictions that are really unnecessary are what's given him a lot of trouble this season. So we've already talked about the battle. I'm not going to go into too much more detail on that now, but yeah, I've got Andrew down just barely above Volume. Really, those two are interchangeable. Obviously, Volume 1 head-to-head. It's just more a matter of where they started in the power rankings for me. I don't like to move coaches more than like 3 or 4 spots in any given week, no matter how well they do or how poorly they do in a certain week. So that's just my own criteria on how I do it. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. So
Chris this week, I remember he went up against, you find it real quick.
Techno.
Techno, yeah. So Techno, Carolina Pantherians, if I do recall. He has the Bulu team. But I remember this match, he brought Chris did some pretty cool stuff as well. Like he brought the Slurpuff. He had, I believe he had double screens Cresselia as well, which was pretty cool. Although there's some things that I did move him down quite a bit this week. It was also kind of hard because I feel that on my rankings, number 5 to 13 were kind of interchangeable with everybody winning and losing and how I felt that people prep for certain matches. But Chris also, there's one major thing that also hurt him a lot is he didn't have a ton for Vaporeon. I remember that. He had no switch-ins to Vaporeon. His only his best, he kept on switching Xurkitree in it, which can check it. And I think was it Scarf Xurkitree this week?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure it was Scarf. It was choiced. I know it was choiced.
Yeah, it was Scarf, I think. So he kept on switching Xurkitree in, and his Vaporeon, I remember he got a Reflect Up, and then I think he might have been better to get a Light Screen up because one, he doesn't deal with Vaporeon well. He's gonna have to switch in Xurkitree to it to Revenge Kill it, and Vaporeon's naturally pretty strong. So since he didn't even get the Light Screen up, Xurkitree every time it was coming in, it was taking 40%. It was just getting weakened. And since he was a Scarf, he was choiced into Electric move. He was Gliscor was a great switch in for Xurkitree every time. I mean, not a great because obviously you could predict it and go for HP Ice, but it's faster. It Revenge Kills it. So if you're some Tail Glow set, you obviously will Revenge Kill it. Be able to outspeed and Revenge Kill it. I guess unless he's Shuka, but yeah, it was, the Vaporeon, it hurt him a lot. That part, I remember that. Might have been a bit too, reliant on sweeping with Slurpuff, maybe.
I thought that, another relatively key moment was when he lost the Cobalion to Scarf Heatran. I don't think he expected Scarf Heatran, or at least maybe thought it was more going to be Choppleberry, and maybe had enough bulk on his Cobalion to be able to take a Lava Plume or something. That's my guess as to why he left his Cobalion in, but that really did look like a win con in team previews, so I think that also contributed to the loss there, for sure.
Yeah, true. And on top of that, he didn't have, when going back on the Vaporeon, he didn't have Toxic on Crest to deal with it. I don't think he did at least. Maybe a sub, I don't know if Zar would be bulky enough to take it, to not have a Vaporeon break the sub, but maybe could have been sub SD instead of SD Flame Charge or sub Dragon Dance or something. Not sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very difficult for him this week.
Alright, so then at number 11, we both have the same guy. We have Prado and the Golden State War Turtles. Now, this was another tough one, so I'm getting the tough ones here. But, yeah, Prado got body bagged by Rob Jr. and the Dallas Starmies. It was 6-0, pretty much all at the hands of Megaladios, and it's, yeah, that's really all there is to say. He didn't bring much at all for Megaladios. Looking at his draft, he really doesn't have a lot to deal with in the first place, so it's not really surprising that happened, I guess. But, yeah, it was just a bloodfest for Megaladios, to put it simply. And a tough loss. Not great on the differential, getting 6-0'd, but I do think he'll be able to bounce back here in future weeks. He's got a strong team. He's a good player. It'll be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I dropped him quite a bit too because like he didn't have much prep. Like, you know, the best prep for Mega Lobbies is a hard amount to prep for, and also like I felt like he didn't have like he can play a lot better. Like first turn he didn't scout for Scarf Crocodile as well. That cost him a lot, and then it just went all downhill from there. Yeah.
So you want to talk about Verd?
Next, yeah. So Verd, who did he play again? I think weren't we just talking about the person he played?
Verd played against Yost, so no.
Yost. Oh yeah. We didn't talk about him yet, but yeah, forgot.
I got it right, Yost. I got it right. I know I said that right. I did it.
Last time we were pronouncing it Juiced. It was great.
Yes. It's spelled like juice, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, we had we couldn't.
Anyways.
So, I have Verd. I moved him down a bit this week. He played Used. So person I have really high who's been playing well and he has a really good draft. So, but he ended up losing versus Used. And it wasn't, there was a really big crit in the game. He used critted Mega Blastoise with Outrage, like mid game, I'd say, and it meant that he could not essentially Use was already locked in Outrage. Mega Blastoise came in to revenge kill it, and that would have meant that he would have been able to live one Outrage and kill it with assuming Aura Sphere. I think he went for Aura Sphere earlier in the game. No, he didn't actually, but he probably had Aura Sphere. And so he'd been able to get rid of the Kyurem.
He definitely had Aura Sphere.
Crit.
Yeah. He had Aura Sphere, yeah.
Yeah, he had Aura Sphere. Instead he got crit, and that pretty much just removed any chance he had because it forced him to, he had to sack Rotom, I think, yeah. Rotom pretty much got sacked, or not sacked, but it was forced to get really weakened, and then at that point it was just really difficult. It ended up being really close even after the crit, because Scarf Victini almost won. So I think there's a good chance Burr would have won this match if he didn't get crit. So I did kind of move him down a little bit, but it was really difficult with everybody else. I definitely want to move higher, but there's just people that ahead of him that I felt that had performances that I think they should be a little bit higher right now. But yeah, I'm sure that Verd will bounce back because Verd is a great player and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll talk more about Verd a little bit later on. But, all right, so I'm going to talk about what we both have at number 8 here in the Rhine Valley Guardians. Now, this is both a team that both of us had, I believe, top 3 here at the start of the season. And they actually started the season off 0-2, picking up another loss this week to the Virginia Tech Frokies in a very close and kind of hacksy game as well, unfortunately. But some of the more pivotal moments, I guess, are just some key parts of the battle to bring up here. He did only get, he hit a Roserade with Pin Missile for Hoopa, which was pretty cool prep for sure, but unfortunately he only got 2 hits on that Pin Missile. But then again, you see the common theme of hacks in this battle where the 2 hits of Pin Missile came right after dodging his in headbutt from the Hoopa, so there's that. I guess you can call that justified. But he also brought a pretty cool Cosmic Power Clefable set that definitely could have put in work there at the end of the game. Unfortunately, it appeared that he lacked stored power and wasn't able to take out a Zapdos before the Zapdos was actually able to Roar/Whirlwind the Clefable out late game before dying, I believe, to recoil from poison or something like that. But yeah, that definitely could have won. So there's some really cool prep here from Johnny in this game, but unfortunately it did come down to a 50-50 at the very end of the game with a Toxicroak versus a Snorlax and a Clefable, and he did not win the 50-50 in that the Toxicroak was able to expect the switch out from Clefable into Snorlax and go for a Cross Chop instead of a Gunk Shot with only 2 hits of Life Orb recoil remaining, meaning that Toxicroak was actually able to clean up the game late game in what would have been a photo finish, quite honestly. So really tight game, tough one to lose, but I believe both of his first 2 games have been really close. So the 0-2 record really doesn't reflect how close his games have been, and that's why you still see him here right at the middle of the pack, even without a win to his resume quite yet. So we'll see him bounce back, I'm sure of that.
Next up, I had actually Carolina Pantherians Techno. I actually put on number 7. Kind of difficult for me. I was really debating on 7 through 9 on where I should put them, but I ended up putting him number 7, just above. Well, he played Chris this week, and Chris definitely has a pretty scary team. So some really cool stuff that I saw was obviously, like, Scarf Heat Chamber was really cool. The Zam was really, really cool as well, and it was almost able to actually set up on a circuitry, which is kind of crazy. Almost able to have, I guess maybe have had a bit more bulk, but that's kind of hard on Zam. It might have been able to. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was setting up on a circuitry. Trying to like recover up on a circuitry, which was really cool. And it was able to set up on Cress. I think, Scarf Tran was really cool as well. It was able to get rid of Koban, which is a huge threat. Vaporeon, as I said against, when I was talking about Chris, Vaporeon really did a lot of stuff this match because it was able to, like, Chris didn't bring the best responses to it. He kept on having to switch circuitry, and circuitry got weakened. It could burn the Slurp Puff, which means that if it sets up a belly drum, it's not like he doesn't have a reliable switch in this match because he also has a combination of Toxic, so Toxic Zard, Toxic Crest, and he played it really well overall. So I ended up moving him a bit higher.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to who's at my number 5 and Riz's number 6, and that is the Virginia Tech Frokies, picking up a nice win against our preseason number 1 and number 2 in the Rhine Valley Guardians. So we did just talk about this a little bit. It was a very haxy game, especially in the showdown between the Roserade and the Hoop Unbound, but I really did think that Jake, that's the name of the coach, right? Jake. I really did think that Jake played really well against the Cosmic Clef, which, as being one of the most common users of Clefable in draft format, I do know how big of a threat that can be, and it was looking like it was going to potentially win the game late if he did not have the phasing ability on the Zapdos. So really nice prep there. But it all came down to an insane 50-50 at the end with the Toxicroak. Already talked about that before. He came out on top in that 50-50, so he did deserve to win the game. So congrats to him on that. He is slowly moving his way up the rankings. He did start down in the bottom half, pretty far in the bottom half, I believe, in the preseason, but now he's up here in the top 6 for both of us. So really showing what he's made of here in the past couple weeks, and excited to see more.
I really like the Roar Zapdos. That was a really nice game.
That was essential to be able to win that game. I think Clef was going to win otherwise. Yep, so you want to grab...
who's
Abe?
next?
I think Abe? Or Paul. Abe or
Virginia Tech. You for Drapions?
Yeah, you can get Paul or Abe either way.
I'll talk about Paul first because I have him lower. So I put Paul number 5. I had a drastic increase just because a lot of the people that I had pretty high ended up losing, and a really big boost. I do think he played it really well this week. He ended up playing. He played 8-12. Oh yeah, we talked about this match earlier. 8-12 brought. There was a lot of hacks against 8-12. I remember that. There was the Ironhead crit, and that essentially helped him a lot because it allowed him Scarm to be around. But I felt that Paul played it still really well nonetheless. He had a Hydro Pump Finny, which was also really cool. I think it was ensure certain kills. The Sub Pass Jolteon was also just a really nice tech that he had to give Lando a free switch into Tapu Koko. Unfortunately, 8-12 was Shucka Berry, so it didn't work 100%. But Scarf Gengar was also a really nice check to certain mons on his team. Yeah, he just played pretty well in my opinion. There's not really much to say about it. So guess we'll just move on to the next one.
Yeah, so you see Abe down here at number 7 on mine. We'll get back to him here soon. Riz is going to talk about him, but I'm going to move on here to our top 4, where I have Verd actually up here at 4, when Riz had him all the way down there at 10, so a pretty big difference there. I'm pretty sure that's the biggest difference we have in any of our rankings. And the reason why I still have Verd in the top 4, despite suffering a loss this week to Yost, who is my number 1. So first of all, that's a big reason why he's still in the top 4. He lost to the number 1 team in my rankings, as well as only, in my opinion, losing guaranteed because of the critical hit against this Mega Blastoise from the Kieran Black. So I really do think that had a huge impact in the late game. I think both of the players admitted that as well during the battles. So when a player loses to the number 1 team in my power rankings on something like that, I have no reason to severely punish them. I only moved them down 1 space because there is one team that I think really did deserve to snag that 3 spot. So Verd, unfortunate, it happens. Keep your head up. I'm sure you'll be able to keep winning in the future, but unfortunate loss there for sure. But like I said, not going to punish you too much for that. So really good prep though overall, I felt, and he still managed to put himself in a position where he could have won the game with Scarf Victini in the end if I think it was Victini, if the Espeon didn't have Shadow Ball or just wasn't heavily invested. Yeah, that's really what it came down to, or maybe if the Espeon was like super frail or something, I don't know. But it was a close game, very close game, unfortunate result, but that's how it goes. So Riz, you can talk about my man Abe. I have him at 7, you have him at 4, but tell us why.
I end up putting Abe a lot higher, just because I feel like he did have a pretty impressive win in the beginning of the game, or not in the beginning, but like he had a pretty impressive win up against Will. Like he played it pretty well, I thought. He weakened Manectric really early, and then was able to sweep with Manaphy. He definitely had his win con in mind. He made sure to get Rocks up after Manectric was weakened because it died to Rocks after that, even though it suffered his Nihilego to get it up, but he knew it was worth it and everything. I don't know, I just felt like he played it really well, and he even played last week really well. Like Calmine Manaphy is really doing a lot for him these last 2 weeks. Maybe we'll see like what kind of Manaphy spreads and stuff he brings in the future. But I decided to put him number 4. I think I jumped him up a lot, especially from the preseason power rankings. I originally had him like number 13, and then I bumped him up. I just felt like he is, even though I'm not a huge fan of his draft, I think his prep and his playing was on point. And I feel that in terms of winning the entire league, or his shot of winning it, making the playoffs, I feel like he has a better shot at it just based off his playing ability and prepping alone than some other people I have lower. So that's why I put him pretty high. Feel like he has a really solid chance.
Yeah, I have nothing negative to say about him at all. He just started really low in my rankings, and I don't want to move people up too quickly. So you see him at number 7 on mine, but that's not to say he hasn't had an amazing season so far. So if he keeps winning, he'll easily be top 4 quickly in my rankings as well. So definitely a good job on his end so far. So for number 3, we both have the same dude. We're both going to talk about him a little bit, although I feel like there's not a whole lot to say about the battle. But it is the Dallas Starmies, coached by PokeTC Gamer, or Rob Jr., as some might know him. And like I already mentioned before, he played against Prado, and Megaladios did what Megaladios does, 6-0 body bagging the opponent, and just, yeah, doing exactly what it was designed to do. I don't have anything else to say, to be honest. What about you?
Yeah. Not much, to be honest. Scott Crook was pretty nice in the beginning. Caught his, I mentioned it when I was talking about his opponent. But yeah, it was really nice weakening like Noivern really early, and Megaladios is just amazing.
We both really like it. we're
I
both
love
big fans of it.
Yeah, it was able to even take on Licky Lick, like, after he got toxic. He just did not have a ton for Megaladios.
Yeah. Alright, so then the last 2 teams between us, we have them just alternating, but I think they're pretty clear, number 1 and number 2 for both of us. Pretty easily interchangeable. I have the Toronto Luxrays at number 2, Angels of Bahia at number 1. Riz has them just the opposite. You want to go ahead and talk about Turk first?
So I decided to put Turk number 1. Jolt ended up having him number 2. He played Shadow, which we talked about earlier in the match. It ended up being a 6-0 in Turk's favor. So Turk is looking really strong this season. Like I think he got a 5-0 last week. So that puts him at a plus 11 differential up 2-0. So his differential is really good, although as we said earlier, Shadow did miss the rock side, which would have definitely changed up the differential for sure. It would have not been a 6-0. Yeah, there's not like a ton to talk about this match. Turk pretty much just played it really well. He was able to take out the Porygon with the Z Focus Blast Nasty Plot Thundy. And that really like broke through Shadow's defensive core as well. So that was really good for him. What is it? The Shuka Berry on Registeel was also really nice. He was able to put on pressure with Lopunny, even though the skill swap Pain Split Dusclops end up coming in. But yeah, there's not really a ton. I don't think Zygarde 10% even was on the field at all. But I'm assuming it would probably be banned, maybe like for a late game cleaner after like Thundy was able to break through his team. But yeah, that was really good for Turk. He definitely good win. I think he would have probably still won if the rock slide didn't. But it would definitely have changed the differential up. But nonetheless, I'm going to have him number 1 for this week. So yeah.
Yeah, and I have the Angels of Bahia at number 1, coached by Yost. Got it right. But like we already talked about, he played Verd. A bit of a hacksy win, I think. I do think the game could have really gone either way despite the hacks, or even if the hacks didn't happen. It was just a matter of once the hacks did happen, Verd was put in a position where it was really hard for him to win. Yost did take advantage of that. He made all the plays he needed to make to be able to pull off the win, and he did do that in a very close 1-0, but a win nonetheless. And when you're at number 1 and you win the game, you're not getting moved. So you remain at number 1. Congrats, Yost, and we'll see how long he can continue that streak. So I think that wraps up these power rankings. I'm gonna let Riz close it off.
All right, yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. So it's gonna be it. I don't think there's anything that you want to say, Jolt.
No.
So, I know you just said something. I don't know. I'm bad at outros. I'm sorry. Jolt, a happy birthday, because it is his birthday today.
Yes, you better.
And yeah, that's gonna be it. Bye.
Bye.